Hello, you're watching my favorite YouTube channel. The question is a real question, so write in the comments. Even if you know the answer before you even watch the rest of the video, how much should comic book creators get paid for films? If you want to expand it, maybe not just films, but toys also, video games. How about whenever they're used for clothing? In every manner, what is the comic book creator entitled to, in your opinion? If we're looking at it from a legal perspective, in every case, other than Superman, I think they sold it, but in every other case, it's work for hire. It's you do something for me. I'm the publisher. I'm Marvel. Thanks for making the Fantastic Four for us. Appreciate that, Stan Lee. We're gonna do stuff with it now. We'll pay you like we agreed, but that's it. Um, I don't have to go all the way back in time. I could even do something as recent as Ms. Marvel. Kamala Khan was created by the editor was Sana Amanat. G. Willow Wilson wrote it, and Adrian Alfonso was the artist for that series. They created this comic book character, but they work for Marvel. And I'm sure in that contract they had a clear understanding that you are a Marvel, you are a creator for Marvel, and what you make is owned by us in perpetuity. That should be the case in my perspective, the way I look at it. But when it leaves comic book wise and we're entering other places, don't you think, and I do, don't you think that the guys who made the character should get a little bit of love? And I do stress a little bit. I'm not saying you get 1% of the box office because that's ridiculous to me. I don't see how the people who are there at the set, they're holding the cameras, they're acting, they're the script writers, they're all the millions of names we see in the credits who are responsible for the movie. I just don't see how we can get a percentage, like I mean, like a full number. If we're talking a 0.02% or something like that, I wouldn't. I would just go, we need a dollar amount for every time a movie is made with a comic book character. And the reason I say that is because it's not just characters, it's also stories. Let's say you use the story of Armor Wars, which was an Iron Man thing, but the actual character inside of it is Rhodey or is Riri Williams, and we're not doing anything with Iron Man. Shouldn't the guy who made the Iron Armor Wars story get compensated also? I would say yes too. I mean, and legally again, their work for hire, they gave away their rights. I get it, but what I'm saying is what they should be entitled to. They should get a little bit of that money, and we should probably let's as a community, guys, let's decide what it is. I'm looking at it like this: $1,000, $2,000. That doesn't pay the bills. If a movie's production budget is this $100 million thing or this or the series or whatever they do, if the production budget is really large, okay, you're entitled to, I'm going to begin at 10K. You should get 10K. You're chilling, you're at home, you're watching Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and you look at your phone and you go, "Oh, it turns out I just got paid for something I wrote 20 years ago. Way to go, me." I feel like that's safe. 10K is not asking for much because in the box office, that movie, Marvel movies for the most part, make $1 billion. I understand what happened with Shang-Chi. It's a pandemic, as I get phone calls. It's a pandemic. It's a pandemic. And that's why the movie isn't making what it's supposed to be making. But you can sacrifice 10K to give to the creator of the Shang-Chi character. Would that have been Jim Starlin? That might have been Jim Starlin. We got a persistent caller here. Gonna put that on silent. Why are you still ringing? Fucking. I'm asking you now. Is that right? Because when we think of movies like Infinity War, we got films that are okay. The Black Order. Jonathan Hickman made that. Thanos. Uh, Jim Starlin. The Hulk is in that movie. Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. We look at Captain America. We look at Iron Man, Larry Lieber. We look at Ditko is responsible for Spider Man. There's just so many people in there, and there's so many stories that are referenced in there that we can't just say you get 1%, you get 1%, you get 1%. It's just got to be a little cash payout of just, oh, okay, we'll do the 10,000 for this character, that character, and then when it's all said and done, the they paid comic book creators maybe one whole $1 million for the production of this film. It'll be less than that actually, but like that's fair. The movie's not taking a big hit. The creators are getting a substantial payout because let's not, 10K is nothing to sneeze at. 10K is like a positive number if you ask me for big productions. And when it comes to toys, I don't know how you would do that, but I know it's got to be a small amount of money for that. And probably the artist should get more than the writer. But we know it's going to be the same writer and artist. When I think of video games, same kind of thing, man. That Spider-Man game that we played 2 years ago, a lot of those characters were classic Stan Lee characters. But Dan Slott created Mr. Negative. Shouldn't he get compensated? Yeah, he should. And I know Christos Gage was the writer. He's a comic book writer, but he was also a writer for the video game too. And that's cool that he's going to get a little bit there. That's responsible casting. You get the right guy to write this film, and I mean the video game, and you prosper. That's toys, that's video games. Cartoons, kind of the same thing. It should be a small cut. I don't much care for people's names showing up. Special thanks to that guy, that guy. That's not capital. That's cool, but it's nothing. And when we know when these movies get made, the asking price for like autographs, their rates at comic conventions of these comic book creators who just had their guys on the big screen, that's gonna skyrocket. And it does help them, even though that's not even money. That's like just your elevation of your status. That's cool. That's helpful. But well, let's talk money. I really do think that they should be getting a cut. What they should do like before the end of the year is make a union, some sort of players association, writers association, where that's understood and guys stop making these signing these contracts, these long-term deals where you can own anything that I do, because it's kind of bullshit. Mm, you just have to have a backbone and stand up for yourself. We see that happening with Scarlett Johansson, and we rate Scarlett Johansson for that. We see what the Russo brothers are saying. Mm, we're gonna cease negotiations until you guys figure out what's happening with streaming. Peace out. And that got out, and that shouldn't have got out because we're not even supposed to know that there's an Avengers movie coming up with the Russos, probably Secret Wars. But we're not supposed to know that. That wasn't announced. But there you go. The Russos are putting their foot down and they're using their leverage and their skill and their talent to the benefit of any director and of any one actor, anyone involved in the film industry who's supposed to get a cut off of a film. They're putting their foot down and being heroes for us. We like that when people put a little sacrifice. Maybe they're not going to be popular in the office, but they have to do what they have to do, and it's easier to do with actors. They actually have not just the Screen Actors Guild, but there's something else that they have, like this union type deal, which is awesome. Um, I want to say it's 100 years old because I heard John Campea say that. I'm just loosely familiar with it. I would see the little logo with the five things sticking out. It's like a circle with five, almost a star, and it's so bizarre. But I'm like, I see that all the time. I didn't know what it was. Yeah, they've got this defense. Writers, artists, know your worth. Hickman knows his worth. Well, it's not like he's part of a union, but Hickman knows his worth. We see how he's reacting with all of this. We Hickman is so militant. He's so smart. Did you guys read what he did? He did an article maybe a week ago. Adventures in Poor Taste. Go find it. He slick told us that the Slack community was his idea. It wasn't an X Office thing. Now you're thinking what I'm thinking. If the X-Men are this group of heroes that are united and they should all flow together and their stories are going to intertwine, maybe the writers should have a communication. Maybe they should have whether it's Discord, Facebook group chat, something. That's not Marvel standard. They just let the writers do their own thing. Hickman is the one who created the Slack channel. Isn't that amazing? And isn't it also disappointing? But he's slick, let us know all about that thing. Genius, man. That man's a genius. I would have reacted to the article, but I feel like I've done that too many times. How many more times can I just say, yeah, I give up on the X-Men? Let's bring it back to the movies, though, or the comic book creators. How much should they get paid for a film? Is it a dollar amount? Is it a percentage amount? That's a question that I want you to answer in the comment section. Je m'appelle Chillmonger. Je suis out.